TIL. The T4 program was a Nazi German euthanasia program that forcibly killed the physically or mentally disabled, the emotionally distraught, elderly people and the incurably ill. The death toll may have reached 200,000 or more. Yes, and many of the people involved would go on to be leading figures in the extermination of the Polish Jews as part of Operation Reinhard at the extermination camps of Treblinka, Belzec, and Sobibor. My grandmother had a mentally challenged sister who was taken to one of those hospitals where they wanted to treat people like her. A few months later they received a letter stating she had died and had already been cremated. This must have been horrible for her family. My grandmother only talked once about it. For the Americans voting in 2024 election, does Kamala Harris get your vote? Why or why not? This is the most self-aware I have ever seen this site. The people you need to hear from aren't on Reddit. You're on Reddit, you already know the answers you're going to get. Sure, but if you think Reddit will give you a good temperature on America, you are out of your mind. TIL. Danny Trejo has a clause in his movie contracts that requires his villainous characters to die by the end of the film. He wants children to learn that crime doesn't pay. Directors inserting Danny Trejo died on his way to his home planet at the end of a film when they forget. Danny Trejo is the real deal, man. I was watching a bio video about him. The guy is just the nicest mean-looking dude you'll ever meet. And he means it, too, the way he wants young people to see him. I'd love to meet him. Man doesn't want to get locked into a bunch of sequels, it's a good move lol. Sean Bean must have a similar clause for his hero characters. What will you never ever do again in your lifetime? I'll never again jump into a close friendship with a person without clearly assessing that person. Never again will I try to cut my own bangs at 2 a.m. It was a chaotic mix of overconfidence and pure regret. Took months to grow them out, and I looked like I lost a fight with a lawnmower. Never again. Face with tears of joy. Hug my mom. Lost her last week. I'm not that old and have a long way to go unless something happens. Hard to think about. Drink alcohol. 600 days this Tuesday. Non-Americans who have been to the US, what is the weirdest thing about America that Americans don't realize is weird? Putting the real estate agent's face on the for sale signs. American here, but something I didn't realize was weird until I traveled out of the country. Some of our coins don't have the denomination/value on them. For instance, our 10-cent piece just says 1 dime. How TF are tourists supposed to know how much a dime is worth? Oh well, it's the smallest so it must be worth the least, right? Wrong. I love our country lol. How easy it is as an outsider to make friends. You guys are nice as hell. I moved here back at the start of the year. I've got my small group of friends back in NZ and thought I'd have trouble making new ones, but Americans have been some of the friendliest people I've met. It's big. Like, really big. I'm from the UK, and 2 years ago, I did Route 66. Even taking the interstate, so not actual Route 66, but you get the idea, it took 4 days of 12+ hours driving to do it. It's goddamn huge. What are your thoughts of a Reddit-wide ban of X links? I have to log into my non-existent Twitter account to see a vast majority of things. Just post a screenshot of the tweet. It would be much easier. Any site that doesn't let you see stuff without an account is worthless for sharing links, so I fully support it. Considering I left X and the dumb site won't let me access 90% of the links without logging in, I'm all for it. Till George Washington decided to step down after 2 terms because he feared he might die in office and Americans would then view the presidency as a lifetime appointment. Washington stepping down voluntarily after 2 terms was a defining part of his legacy, in the best possible way. Ironically, he probably would have lived longer had he taken a 3rd term. Till it was the Incans who originally made the original recipe of peanut butter, and Marcellus Edison who made the peanut butter we know and love today. George Washington Carver did not create peanut butter. There was an early American Dad episode parodying National Treasure that literally ends with this fact, which is where I first learned it. Carver was in fact a brilliant scientist who focused on soil depletion and farming methods that helped peanut farmers, leading the modern organic farming movement. Inventing peanut butter is underselling what he did. Nor did he claim to. He wrote a book containing 105 recipes for peanuts, but nut butter was not one of them. Are you surprised at the lack of sympathy and outright glee the UHC CEO has gotten after his murder? Why or why not? No, I'm not surprised. How many lives did the company take with a 32% denial rate? Those are the souls we should be discussing. Not surprised at all. It's hard to feel sympathy for someone who made millions of dollars by essentially sentencing sick people to death or poverty. Nope. Not surprised at all. I am a healthcare worker. When I see people not getting help because understaffing, crying because they can't afford help, or literally saying I can't afford to stay alive, I think of guys like this. On the floor we are just told to deal with violence on our own. Now that the elite get targeted, all of a sudden they're talking about security. Screw these folks. What seems to be overpriced, but in reality is 100% worth it? Good shoes and socks. A quality sofa. One from What a Room Custom Sofas, Room and Board, Our House, or Flex Steel. Don't go for the junk from Joybird, Ashley, Burrow, West Elm, etc. For those that make over $200,000 a year, what do you do? Divorce lawyer. Every day is another soap opera. Cancer research scientist in biotech/pharma, been at it for a decade. Electrical engineer. To you young people, you need to change companies. Whenever you feel like you are one, taking on new roles without your pay increasing significantly, or two, if you feel ready to take on new roles, you will never keep pace with inflation or get ahead at one employer. I made my money the old-fashioned way. I got run over by a Lexus. What was your I'm dating/married to a fucking idiot moment? She thinks that north is always uphill, so prefers to walk south. We served in the US Peace Corps together in Uganda. One day, it was really sunny out, like we lived within 50 miles of the equator. Sunny, she says, the moon is going to be really bright tonight. I asked what she meant, and she said since it's so sunny, the moon is absorbing all the light and will illuminate brighter when it's dark. We argued about this and ended up talking to her mother on the phone. She confirmed her daughter's hypothesis. My ex thought wind turbines spun because they were powered by electricity. She has since got a degree and I don't have one, so I'm not sure what that makes me. What is an industry secret that you know? The places you put your parents, even the more expensive ones. Independent and assisted living. Most are owned by investors who really don't care about your loved ones. Especially the larger corporate ones with multiple units in different states. Some people are paying thousands per month for the bare minimum of care and facilities. The shit I see and hear will make your skin crawl. Nutrition labels on small, not well-known brands can be inaccurate, and nobody would ever know. Once you send your food product out to a lab to have a nutrition label created for it, that is the last time anyone is ever going to check it. It would take someone to pay for a new analysis at a lab to see if the percentage of core gum, for example, is still accurate, and nobody is going to do that. Some plus-size models get liposuction on their face and necks to be more aesthetically pleasing. What would women dislike most if they became men? Worrying about every little move you make being seen as creepy, yet if you want something to happen you need to approach. Being viewed with suspicion whenever I interact with children. Plenty of shitty things about being female, but that one is particularly sad for men. Well, this thread is depressing. What would be your reaction if Donald Trump dies tonight? Holy shit, what did /u/K Refortour know that the rest of us didn't? Ah, shit. I can smell the conspiracy engines firing up now. Wouldn't it be really weird if he actually drops dead tonight? You should never say bad things about the dead, only good. Joan Crawford is dead, good. Bette Davis. There's absolutely no way the conspiracy crowd would see it as just a normal thing that happens to old people. I'd be pretty worried tbh. Like and subscribe.